Creating films, trailers, posters, magazines, and any other form of media has dramatically changed over the past 2 decades. Since the dramatic increase in technology, institutions have been able to adopt many different technological convergences to help improve the quality and overall presentation of their work. Technology has helped improve the process of creating films and posters in general. It's easier, it's faster, and overall better quality. Creating our poster and magazine for our film trailer was easier this time round. We all had previous experience in development with posters and magazines using Photoshop from our previous year, and therefore the process was a lot easier, faster, and our increased knowledge of the program allowed us to create something more visually impressive. Our knowledge of horror conventions and the research we had done meant that with the use of Photoshop, we could implement those conventions and explore our conventions. Photoshop allowed us to edit, rearrange, and make decisions as a team. This wouldn't have been possible without the help of Photoshop. We also used a digital SLR camera, which meant we could take as many photos as we wanted, and it also meant we didn't have to get them developed, which would have taken more time. DSLR cameras also meant we could preview our image before and after we took it, unlike a film camera, which meant we could experiment with different ideas. All of our programs were installed on a Windows-based laptop. The laptop was our medium, and without it we couldn't have been able to create or develop our ideas. The laptop also allowed us to edit our work from home and at school, meaning we had more time to do our work. Our camera also let us experiment with different locations and different ideas, meaning we was able to expand the creativity of our trailer. Like I mentioned before, the use of technology has also allowed us to create a better, detailed trailer. For our trailer, we filmed on a digital SLR, something that has only been around since the dawn of computer technology. And fortunately for us, that meant we didn't have to go through the hassle of getting our film developed since it was all in a digital format. This made the process easier and quicker and more accurate in terms of detail. We were able to preview our image, play back our image, and this also allowed us to make any revisions we needed to make. The use of technology also allowed us to play with the configuration of our location. Since the camera was able to change settings, we could play with the lighting using ISO and aperture, as well as the detail, resolution, and the speed of our video, the shutter speed. We then imported all of our footage onto a Windows-based PC, which allowed us to then look closer at the footage we had taken. From here we found that most of our footage was correct and turned out how we wanted. However, we did go back to retake shots as well as take more in different locations. This whole process is a lot quicker than using a film camera where we would have to get our footage developed. Once we had all of our footage, we then imported it into an editing software called Adobe After Effects. The program allowed us to create a timeline where we imported our footage and played around with different ideas. This wouldn't be possible if it weren't for the current state of technology. Again, comparing it to film, we wouldn't have had the many different options available for us, as the whole process would have been a lot longer and a lot more complex. The editing allowed us to instantaneously change the order of our footage in the timeline, as well as making color correction, cropping, intertitles, and CGI. It also allowed us to preview our image before we finally had it developed. Lastly, we were able to play our available audio and fit it in correctly to correspond to the visual footage, making the conventions, timings, and overall presentation were correct and satisfying. The availability of these programs, computers, and cameras to the consumer market has allowed us and many other people to create a cinema-like production that many years ago would have cost thousands of pounds, extensive knowledge, and a lot of time. Once we presented our final trailer to an audience, we then got feedback on how we could improve our trailer. We then went back to our editing suite and made the corrections from our feedback. This is something only available through digital editing software. As we still had all of our footage saved in the timeline, and within a few clicks we were able to change our trailer and make it so it's tailor-made to the feedback we received. One of our most treasured artillery was the use and availability of the internet. The internet played a key role in understanding, developing, and putting in the use of our ideas. Without the internet, our knowledge and final products would have been a lot lower quality and a lot less visually impressive. The internet has been around and available to the public audience since the early 90s, However, the growth and quality of the internet and the information in it hasn't been appreciated until the early 2000s. Therefore, we are fortunate enough to have the internet available to us where we've done a lot of our research. The information found on the internet was more detailed and a lot easier and faster to access than having to research in a library or going to a film studio. We browsed many different forums and video sites to get the right idea of what we wanted with our trailer, and also looked at many other film trailers that were available to watch for free on video streaming sites such as Apple Trailers, YouTube and Vimeo. The internet allowed us to look at incredibly wide and diverse range of information, whether it was video, audio or textual. We were then able to look at previous, present and future projects which had been uploaded to the internet. The internet also allows us to talk to aspiring and established film directors, which are able to give us tips and tricks when we develop our final trailer. The internet also allowed us to send each other work where we're not within the local area of each other. Our planning was mixed into a digital and non-digital format. We initially created a storyboard on paper drawn by hand. We brainstormed in group, thinking of different ideas, shots, storylines, scores and titles. It was from that point we moved to a digital medium using the computer software to help progress our ideas. Again, not only using the internet, but the overall potential of the computer itself, as well as different software such as Microsoft Word, Microsoft PowerPoint presentation, and many others. We also used the internet to create the blog where we posted our findings, plans, and kept the overall organisation of the project. We also used our cameras to try different test shots in different locations and see how it would appear once uploaded onto the computer. Computers and software within it allowed us to create and present a good quality textual work as well as the evaluation itself. The use of computers made sure our work was correct, punctual, and most importantly, understandable. The computer's internet also allowed me as an individual to send and receive work from different locations, all with the information intact. Software like Microsoft Word and online dictionaries make sure my work is the best quality I can produce. This is something not available or not as quickly amendable as a handwritten work.